The Democrats were hoping that they'd be surfing on a blue wave by now, and instead, they're sitting on their surfboards hearing the theme music from Jaws. We're now learning about a financial weapon from Trump and the GOP bigger than anything either party has ever wielded in a midterm election. We're looking at a Senate map that's flipping in ways nobody predicted. And we're looking at poll numbers that are showing that 2026 may be absolutely historic for the House. Stick them to the very end of this video because we're going to understand exactly why November may give Democrats across the country the shock of their lives. Hey gang, it's me, Dr. Steve, your Patriot Professor, enjoying yet another glorious day in the Trumpian golden age that you made possible back in November of 2024. So if you want a front row seat on how you continue to change the world in ways you never even imagined, make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. Now, if you've been with this channel for some time, you'll be fully familiar with the massive fundraising advantage that the Republicans have amassed over the Democrats heading into the midterms. But we're now getting word that those reports were just the tip of the iceberg. We've seen nothing yet. As of the latest FEC filings, the RNC, the NRSC for the Senate, and the NRCC for Congress combined are sitting on roughly $256 million. That's compared to about $126 million combined for the DNC, DSCC, and DCCC. Now, remember, the Democrats are carrying $18 million in debt on top of all of that. The DNC itself has they've basically been broke. They're the ones with the $18 million in debt. They wasted millions on that idiotic referendum in Virginia that tried to redraw their congressional map 10-1, Democrat to Republican, that the courts struck down. It was a total failure, total waste of money. By contrast, the RNC alone has $125 million with zero debt, the highest cash total in that committee's history. Even CNN is reporting that the RNC has a 7-1 fundraising advantage over the DNC. Absolutely extraordinary stuff. And yet, as it turns out, that's nothing. That's literally the tip of the iceberg. And that's largely thanks to the Supreme Court. Now, I don't know how many of you saw this, but back in June 30th, the Supreme Court ruled 6-3 in NRSC versus the FEC that the 50-year-old caps on how much national party committees can coordinate spending with their own candidates violate the First Amendment. Those old limits were tiny, anywhere from like 65 grand to 130 grand for house races, and up to about a few million for Senate races, depending on the state. Those limits are now gone. Justice Kavanaugh wrote the majority opinion, joined by Roberts, Thomas, Alito, Gorsuch, and Barrett, and it overturned a 2001 precedent that had stood for a generation. The liberals in the courts, they were absolutely livid. Kagan wrote a furious dissent warning that this turns political parties into a conduit for unlimited donations to a particular candidate. But as it turns out, it appears the liberals are actually panicking precisely because no one's giving to liberal Democrat candidates. Or if they are, like they are with Tallarico in Texas, they're literally just flushing money down the toilet. Regardless, the ruling stands, and it just handed Republicans a massive structural advantage right as the cash keeps piling up. Enter the one and only Donald J. Trump. It is now being reported this week that Trump's own super PAC, MAGA Inc., is sitting on $401 million in cash, the largest war chest of any super PAC in the entire country heading into the midterms. And add to that the $256 million already stacked up across the RNC, NRSC, and the NRCC, and you get north of $650 million just from those four entities alone. But again, that's nothing. Bloomberg is now reporting that with total Republican-aligned money across the full fundraising ecosystem, Trump and the GOP have just officially amassed over $1 billion heading into the midterms. Bloomberg's reporting puts the full Republican financial advantage at roughly triple what Democrats have on hand in terms of their entire fundraising ecosystem. And again, while the Democrats are wrestling with debt, by contrast, Trump has barely touched any of it. He hasn't even spent 1% of that $400 million sitting in MAGA Inc. MAGA Inc. leadership says the money's earmarked for critical Senate races like we're seeing in North Carolina and Georgia, Michigan, and New Hampshire. Michigan, New Hampshire, and Georgia, those would be all pickups for the GOP. But make no mistake, when that money starts moving, it's going to hit like nothing we've ever seen in a midterm cycle. And this is all happening as the polls are showing a shocking surge for the GOP in both the Senate and the House. It's absolutely stunning stuff, almost as stunning as this new parasite that the CDC just identified. Have you been hearing about this? There's been an explosive diarrhea outbreak in the United States this summer, and the CDC just confirmed the culprit. It's a new parasite found in grocery store fruits and vegetables, which has exposed hundreds of millions of Americans across over 30 states. The CDC is investigating a multi-state outbreak of cyclospora, parasite linked to contaminated fresh produce. It can create severe diarrhea, stomach cramps, nausea, fatigue, and other debilitating symptoms. Now, if you get sick, the CDC recommends a standard antibiotic. Most people know it by its brand name Bactrim. And that's why the wellness company created the medical emergency kit with generic Bactrim plus 7 additional prescription medications to help treat more than 25 common illnesses and medical emergencies, all prescribed before you need them. Getting your kit is so simple. Complete a secure online medical questionnaire. If approved by a licensed physician, your kit ships directly to your door. Don't wait until you're sick to wish you were prepared. Visit twc.health/Turley and use code Turley to save up to $45 off and free shipping. Kits available to U.S. residents only. With roughly 105 days to go before the election, the Cook Political Report now has the Republicans at a solid 212 seats, with the Democrats at just 205 with 18 toss-ups. Now, when you compare that to this time in 2018, when the Democrats went on to win 40 seats, the Democrats were up with 210 seats, and the Republicans were at just 195 seats with 39 toss-ups. So that's effectively been inverted. According to Cook, the GOP would only need to win 6 of the 18 toss-ups, which of course would help target that billion-dollar war chest the GOP is sitting on right now. And it's not just Cook. Inside Elections has the Republicans at 215 seats, so just 3 shy of the 218 for the majority. Even Fox News is now saying that a good night for Republicans looks like it'll be 224 seats, noting that over the past 2 years, a wave of states have redrawn their congressional maps, and the states that got in on that redistricting fight run disproportionately in the GOP's favor heading into November. Now, if that were to happen, it would be historic. It would only be the 4th time in the last 100 years where the party in power actually gained seats in the House. It's only happened in 1934, 1998, and 2002. Every other time the party in power loses seats, upwards of 30 to 40 seats. And this is largely because of the redistricting efforts. It looks like the GOP is headed for another potential historic win. Over in the Senate, things look even better. In Michigan, Republican Mike Rogers is polling very well ahead of the Democrat primary, especially the Democrat candidate turns out to be Abdul El Sayed. We'll know in the first week of August. That's when they had their primaries. Either way, either El Sayed or Stevens, they're seen as rather weak candidates. So Michigan, which Trump won in 2024, is being seen as a very real pickup for the GOP. So a lot of monies could be spent on that race, as would be New Hampshire. Chris Pappas is up by just a few points over John Sununu. But the Sununu name has tremendous viability in New Hampshire, as well as a huge Republican voter registration advantage. So a well-funded campaign would be a serious threat to the Democrats holding on to that seat. Georgia's John Ossoff leads Mike Collins by just 4 points in a state that's notoriously hard to poll and that voted for Trump in 2024. So that could be another pickup. The best bet for Democrats is in North Carolina, where Roy Cooper is leading Mike Whatley. But the Democrat-leaning pollster PPP, their latest shows Roy Cooper leading Whatley by just a few points, just 4, with Cooper unable to crack the 50% across most polls, despite a massive fundraising advantage thus far over Whatley. North Carolina hasn't elected a Democrat senator since 2008, and GOP voter registration now leads the state. And again, the NRSC, the Senatorial Committee, they've reserved nearly $60 million in ads there. So even in their best hope for a flip, the Democrats are facing massive headwinds. So add it all up, and the projected map lands at about 53 Republican seats to 47 Democrat seats. That's with 1 Republican flip in Michigan and a Democrat flip in North Carolina. So either way, the GOP holds the majority, and they might even gain ground doing it just like they did back in 2018 when Democrats won the House in a blue wave, but Republicans still gained 2 Senate seats because the specific seats on the ballot ran through Trump territory. So putting the whole picture together, a Supreme Court ruling just blew up spending limits that have stood for 50 years. Republicans are sitting on a combined war chest north of $1 billion between the party committees and Trump's own super PAC, with most of that money not even being deployed yet. The Senate map, which is supposed to punish the president's party in a midterm, is instead pointing towards Republicans holding or even possibly gaining their majority. And in the House, favorable redistricting combined with a razor-thin but real Republican edge means Democrats need literally everything to break their way just to hope to get a bare majority. This is not the environment the media promised you back in January. Democrats were supposed to be riding a wave into the midterms. Instead, Republicans are sitting on more money than any midterm cycle in history, and the actual electoral map says they could come out of November stronger than they went in. So what do you guys think? Let us know in the comments down below. And as always, make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button for breaking news and analysis you're not going to get anywhere else. Love you guys. God bless. Ever wonder what I really think off camera? That's Turley Walks. It's exclusive to the members of the Courageous Patriots Club, but one free episode is unlocked for you right now. Scan the QR code and watch today.